Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show. We give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire galaxy. To quote the great American Randy Quaid, hello boys. I'm back. We hope you guys enjoyed your 4th of July here in America and across the world. Thanks to everybody who came to the Houston Improv this past weekend. We have a jam-packed show today. On today's episode of Collider Movie Talk, Wonder Woman continues her box office dominance. Top Gun 2 gets a release date, and Leatherface probably going to be rated R. All right, Ashley, who's joining me today?
Also here's Mark Reilly.
Well, happy to be here post July 4th. I survived. Wonderful day. Happy to be here.
You look a little frazzled.
I'm tired, man. I am so tired. That took all my energy. I don't know what else I'm going to do for the show.
Also here looking a little frazzled is Jeremy Jahns.
Everyone here has hangovers. Everyone here has 30 minutes of sleep. Not everyone here can pull off an Independence Day quote like the great Mark Ellis, but we're here to play.
Also here, Kristian Harloff.
I saved my friend from getting hit from a bus last night.
That is actually a true story. Kristian made sure his friend Pinto did not go quietly into that good night. All right, Ashley, let's kick off with some stories about Fox and Marvel.
2018 will be a big year for 20th Century Fox with 3 movies from the X-Men universe set for release. They include The New Mutants on April 13th, Deadpool 2 on June 1st, and X-Men Dark Phoenix on November 2nd. Now Fox is betting the hype will continue and have dated 6 new Marvel movies that will take them through 2021. The new dates include June 7th and November 22nd in 2019, March 13th, June 26th, and October 2nd in 2020, and March 5th in 2021. It remains to be seen what these untitled films will be, but the possibilities include Deadpool 3, X-Force, a New Mutants sequel, and another X-Men movie. Also up for debate, a new Fantastic Four movie rumored now to be in the works as a YA-style reboot that focuses on the children of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Ellis, what are some of the Marvel movies you hope debut from Fox with these dates?
You know, Ashley, it's funny you close with the Fantastic Four because, like, that was my first thought when I read this story, is Fox has 6 Marvel-based movies planned through 2021, and you're like, wait a minute, okay, so that's got to be a Fantastic Four reboot, but then you're like, oh no, wait, they have some X-Men movies they're going to get out. They have New Mutants, which I'm very excited about, and of course, Deadpool 2, maybe an X-Force movie, so there could be room for a Fantastic Four reboot, but that's not something that I am pinning a lot of hopes on. I know we covered this story last week that they want to possibly do a new Fantastic Four version where you're focusing on the kids of Sue and Richard, but I don't care about that. What do I care about? More Deadpool, different X-Men, and New Mutants. I think the New Mutants project is something I'm really cautiously optimistic about. I mean, you look at the cast they have right now. They just started shooting. Anya Taylor-Joy, Maisie Williams in that too. Just the characters that they have, Jeremy. You're going to get your Wolfsbane and your Magic and your Cannonball. New Mutants is the one I'm most excited about. However, the March 5th, 2021 date is the last date that they currently have slated. That could be Deadpool 3. Or that could be the first X-Force. It's still too early to tell, but do you think we're going to get a lot of surprises out of the 6 movies that they have slated?
Well, it lines up to be Deadpool 3, so I imagine it could be the Fantastic Four movie that we're kind of hearing about, kind of not. I'm going to call it Incredibles 2 because it just makes me feel good. But, I mean, I don't think that's the right direction for that, as we talked about before. One thing I would like to see in a Fantastic Four movie is Doctor Doom done well, because of all the flaws of any of the incarnations of Fantastic Four that we've gotten thus far, they have one of the best Marvel villains, and they've never done him well. It's like, I mean, how hard can that be? Even if your movie premise sucks, it would be great to just reflect. Exactly. It would be great to reflect and be like, you know, like at least they did the villain well. So I mean, I think there are going to be a lot of surprises. There are going to be some things that
Excuse me.
You know, the Lord is knocking, and he agrees that there should be a great Doctor Doom in the works somehow, somewhere. So that's what I'd like.
That's right, Kristian. I know you want to make your point, but it's kind of rude to cut Jeremy off like that.
It's a barbecue gas. Look, as everything that I'm looking at. First of all, can you bring up that graphic again, Adam, of all those movies? Because what a piss poor graphic in general. Not the actual thing. Not the actual making of it. Not the actual making of it. Not the actual making of it. Look at what's going on inside there. No one wants to see Channing Tatum as Gambit. Olivia Munn was god awful in that movie. Fantastic Four was a bust. Deadpool is the poor bastard is all by himself because even that top image there, even though Sophie was good in the role, that movie wasn't the best.
Yeah, you're Anya Taylor-Joy over there. That's a good.
That's a cartoon. I think that out of all these particular movies that are coming out, New Mutants is the one that stands out to me. There's two things. The first thing with Gambit, as much as I like Channing Tatum, and I think he's turned a corner as far as his acting goes. He shouldn't be Gambit. And I'll tell you what, I think Taylor Kitsch, they should bring him back. And I think that it would, even though that movie, I know, just listen, Taylor Kitsch, when they pushed Taylor Kitsch at first, they were trying to say, there's your next superstar, just the same way that they did it with Sam Worthington, and no one was really taken on to it. You look at what he's done in Lone Survivor. You look at what he's done in even True Detective Season 2, and there's other buzz for him coming out at the end of the year. I think people should be changing their tune on that guy and let him take it. It'll be cheaper for them to do. That's the one thing. The other thing is Fantastic Four. It's an easier thing said than done, but let it go. Let it go. No one wants to see the kids of... It's like the kids of Goonies. Nobody wanted to see that. Wasn't able to happen. Let's get an actual Fantastic Four movie that works before you start focusing on the kids. It's a dopey move that it's Fox trying to hold on because they're going to lose the property to Marvel if they don't make a movie. So they're just throwing anything against the wall that sticks, and it's a waste of money. It's gonna be terrible. Sorry, and let me actually see the movie itself. Don't try to rip off The Incredibles. Just make your own movie.
You know, what's really funny is I've always thought that it's like, what's the point of holding on to a property that makes you nothing? You know, it's like I have this piece of dog shit and I could lose it if I don't. It's like lose the dog shit.
Right.
I don't know what to say. Just
place it in a trash receptacle. Reilly, if you love something, set it free. Is that what's going to happen with Fantastic Four and Fox?
It should. It should. They should absolutely. This reeks of desperation. If they're going to reboot it, now it's unconfirmed. We don't know if it's going to be this YA style, but makes a lot of sense because the other one didn't do very well. So they want to do something different, and they're kind of. At first, we heard New Mutants was going to be a YA style, but then they changed course. It could be horror thriller, which I love. I'm excited for that. The Fantastic Four, wouldn't it be great to see it go back to Marvel and they do something that they did with Spider-Man? They get something on the books, they put it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think everybody would be happy. And I don't know if there's a deal that can be made between Fox and Marvel, but I think it needs to be done. Let it go back to Marvel. That's my takeaway from this. I totally agree with you too, Kristian, on Gambit. I would love to see Taylor Kitsch come back. That would get me more excited for it because Gambit just seems... It's in development hell. So I don't know if it's on this slate, but something's going on with it.
It connects
still.
it in a weird way too, even though it's like not actual canon because even though Ryan Reynolds played Deadpool, they don't really pay attention to that version of it in the that was a Wolverine Origins. Mm-hmm. So it still would be. I think it would be interesting. I think people just kind of once that John Carter thing came out, everyone, which is still I don't think the worst movie in the world, but it bombed. So his stock went down. I think his stock will rise again, and I think that they should give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Fox is smart in doing is that they're planting their flag in a number of summer and fall, and then you have that March release date in 2021. So you know you're going to get another X-Men movie. You know you're getting New Mutants, a Deadpool sequel, and X-Force, hopefully. Now, will we get more sequels to those movies? Will it be Fantastic Four? Will it be something else? That remains to be seen, but I think we can all say Fantastic Four kids. Ashley, what's our next story?
Well, lots of fantastic things happening today because principal photography has begun on David Yates' untitled Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them sequel. And with it, Warner Brothers has released the official synopsis for the movie, as well as revealing some new characters that will be a part of the new adventure that will see Oscar winner Eddie Redmayne back as Newt Scamander. It reads, J.K. Rowling wrote the screenplay for the film, which opens in 1927, a few months after Newt helped to unveil and capture the infamous Dark Wizard Gellert Grindelwald. However, as he promised he would, Grindelwald has made a dramatic escape and has been gathering more followers to his cause, elevating wizards above all non-magical beings. The only one who might be able to stop him is the wizard he once called his dearest friend, Albus Dumbledore. But Dumbledore will need help from the wizard who had thwarted Grindelwald once before, his former student, Newt Scamander. The adventure reunites Newt with Tina, Queenie, and Jacob, but his mission will also test their loyalties as they face new perilous and an increasingly dangerous and divided wizarding world. Jeremy, thoughts on the new synopsis for the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them sequel?
That's true. How much can I talk about this without actually spoiling the end of the last
I think we already did that, Jeremy.
Yeah, okay. So, all right. So I immediately after the end of the first one, it's funny that this is like there's a lot of fantastic titles. They should be called Good Enough, I guess. I enjoyed Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but definitely you don't need 6 of these. But we're getting a sequel. I get that. The reveal of Grindelwald at the end, I didn't like personally, and it's one of these things where I'm glad they're focusing up. They're like, we're not chasing down fun monsters anymore. It's actually focusing up to, we got to take out the big bad guy. So I don't know if it's going to feel familiar to what already happened in the Harry Potter wizarding world, because that's kind of the premise of what happened before. So it's like, big bad guy comes, we got to take him out. Big bad guy's going to come later. We're going to take him out too. So I don't know how excited I could be for this, but I am going to look forward to it because there is something endearing and magical. As long as they don't fight a big rage cloud at the end of the movie, I'll be happy.
The reveal of Grindelwald did something even worse to me, Jeremy, than pissing me off. I was already uninterested. Fantastic Beasts just did not pop for me. So the sequel is already down with the Mary Poppins 2s of the world, where I hear a synopsis, and I personally just do not care about this movie at all. You got to do something to get me a little bit more excited. I am intrigued by Jude Law playing a young Dumbledore. I think that's going to be a hook that they have advertising this movie once it come out. Look, Reilly, you're talking to a guy who finally went to the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I got to meet a very cool conductor, or whatever the hell Roca plays there. And I also got to have a butterbeer, and I rode the roller coasters, and I saw the light show, and it was great. And it reminded me how much I do enjoy the Harry Potter movies, but Fantastic Beasts, I'm just not there. Is this sequel going to get you there?
Yeah, because I very much enjoyed the first one. However, I do see the point here. Jeremy, I saw the same thing. In reading this synopsis, I went, sounds like Harry Potter.
Right.
Sounds like we're getting a very similar plot to Harry Potter. Then again, I'm very excited for Jude Law and seeing a young Dumbledore and seeing finally Johnny Depp do something in the wizarding world. Huh? He was. It's not a spoiler. He was in the movie.
Spoiler.
Let's get over it.
Okay.
It happened.
Let's put on a spoiler.
Too late.
alert.
You said it right.
Oh, there you go. That just washes the hands away, doesn't it?
Great. Spoiler.
Sorry, it was in the synopsis of the first movie. Anyways,
It's all okay.
it's all good. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm going to go see this movie. I'm excited. I hope they do something different. I'm going to give this movie a chance, the second movie a chance, and if it's kind of more of the same of where we're seeing Harry Potter-ish storylines with Newt Scamander, I might lose some interest. I hope it's something new. I hope it's something different. This is great. I just look at the Albus Dumbledore character, and I'm very interested in learning more.
Kristian, who is Kaiser Sose?
Spoiler. I'm one of the 6 people, I guess Reilly and myself, who actually enjoyed the first movie, but I completely understand. I tried to watch it with my wife because I was like, I really enjoyed this, and she bored. Most people that I've heard from you bored. People get bored with the movie very fast, and it doesn't have, pun intended, the magic that the original series had. However, the first 2 Christopher Columbus Harry Potter movies are probably the least liked of the entire series. It took the third one, fourth, fifth one to really kind of get and find its groove as far as the films went. Maybe this could be the same for the second movie. They're going to have to do is that you're not going to be looking forward to this movie, the second one, but if they can capture you guys and they can make the second one far superior than the first one, more entertaining, get you more invested with the characters. This is the one though. If this one is as boring to other people, not like you and I, Reilly, but if this is boring, because a lot of people did find it that way. If it's the same thing, they're in trouble then with this franchise, because people, I can guarantee, if you ask the survey to the people watching this right now, how much do you really care about the sequel? Serious now too. I'd love to see just I care, I don't care, but whether or not it's going to come in, I bet you there's more I don't cares.
You know what's funny is I just want to clear up. I did enjoy the first one,
did, okay.
but for every enjoyable part, for every few enjoyable parts, there's a really stupid one where he's trying to do a mating dance with a rhinoceros. It's just, there's stupid stuff.
You don't make bad points.
I found it a little dull. Like, even the first 2 Harry Potter. That's the nicest thing you've said all morning.
Mom.
You did say some words there.
I feel my life's a lot different since I saved someone's life last night.
Yeah. You're a hero amongst a panel.
We're all
Tell
better
only
people
myself.
for having Pinto still a part of this world. Look, I'll say this about the first Fantastic Beasts. I didn't think it was a riveting, rollicking adventure, but it made over $800 million across the world, over $230 million here in the States. The first 2 Harry Potter movies that Chris Columbus did, they were the more family-friendly, more kiddie versions of it, but I still enjoyed watching them. I had a good time. I was invested in the world. unveiled. I just didn't care about Fantastic Beasts the way that a Harloff or a Reilly did. So I'm curious to hear from you guys. Comment and let us know. Do you want to see Fantastic Beasts 2? Does this synopsis make you more excited than you would have been previously? I do like the fact that they're still incorporating the human characters in here. You know, the Queenie and the Dan Fogler character and all of that. I like seeing them in the adventure because they were the most fun part of the first Fantastic Beasts. However, if you say Dan Fogler's the most fun part of a movie that has a Harry Potter touch, it's not really a good movie, in my opinion. So we'll have to...
Spoiler.
There's nothing spoiled there.
Oh.
Let's move on to the box office report for this past weekend.
After the long holiday weekend, it's time for the weekend box office report. Universal and Illumination's Despicable Me 3 grabbed the #1 spot at the box office, opening well under studio estimates, taking in $72.4 million. And the #2 spot is Edgar Wright's Baby Driver, which opened on Wednesday, grossing $9 million and $21 million over the 3-day weekend. Transformers: The Last Night dropped 62% in its second weekend release, taking in $17 million for the #3 spot. Wonder Woman landed in the #4 spot with $15.7 million, as the film's domestic total now stands at $346.1 million after 5 weeks in release. Wonder Woman's domestic total now puts it as the highest-grossing DCEU movie of all time, beating totals for Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. And rounding out the top 5 is Disney and Pixar's Cars 3. It made $9.7 million, as its domestic total now tops $120 million. Kristian, thoughts on the weekend box office report?
I'm happy that Baby Driver made 21. I'm glad that people saw that movie. I really enjoyed it. It's one of my top movies of the year, if not the top. It's nice to see that an original movie like that is able to pull. I don't know how much it costs to make. I hope it continues to hold. It's $21 million, you know, for most movies, big blockbuster action movies, that's not a great number. But for, I think, Baby Driver in general, do you know how much it costs to make?
$34 million.
Great. So it should be able to make its money back, and I hope it does. And if you haven't seen it, I encourage people to go out and check that out. Despicable Me at 7, it's not a great movie. So the fact that it did 75 is not a surprise. It's the third one. I think this is the end of the franchise. At least I hope so, because I did see that movie and I was bored to tears with it, and I liked the first two. And I think that you look at Wonder Woman, I just, like I said, and it's not as much of a told you so, but it's going to be very hard for Guardians of the Galaxy to hold on to be the best summer movie, because it's came out in May, and Wonder Woman already it's going to pass it. Depending on what Spider-Man: Homecoming can do in its opening weekend, we might see the 3 top movies of the year be, you know, Guardians, Wonder Woman. Not of the year, of the summer. Mm-hmm. Guardians, Wonder Woman, and of course Spider-Man. So it's a good box office so far, and Cars stinks.
It was our headline story that Wonder Woman is now the highest-grossing DCEU movie of all time, and I think that it's a lot of confluence of positive things happening when that movie came out, and then week to week to week. I think the critical reception of that was so much more favorable than a Batman v Superman. And I know a lot of people liked Man of Steel. I think Wonder Woman was a more universally celebrated movie than even Superman's first venture in the DCU, so it makes sense, and I think it's great that it is the top-grossing DCU film of all time. I do not think Despicable Me 3 is the last film in that franchise at all. I think
I think it should be, is what I'm saying.
I enjoy it. I mean,
it's tired now,
there's other things that you can do with that. I think you might even get another Standalone Minions movie at some point.
God,
I mean,
help us.
I love those little bastards. And seeing Baby Driver do $21 million, I think that's nice. I think critical reception of Baby Driver was so overwhelmingly positive that I think a lot like Wonder Woman, word of mouth is going to get that thing into third gear, where it's going to go week to week to week, and it's going to continue to gross well here domestically. Overseas is where Transformers is still going to be making the lion's share of its budget. I think it's already close to $400 million worldwide, Jeremy. So you look at this week's box office, what were the fireworks that stood out to you?
I love the fact that Despicable Me 3 made $70-something million, $72 million, and it's like, whoo! It didn't do well. It's like, I will take one of those $1 million, and like, you know what? Just give me one of those, and I'll be totally fine. But there was no way Baby Driver is going to be #1 in the box office. I'm glad it's #2, like Kristian said. But I mean, you're going up against a kids movie, no way. But I'm with you about Despicable Me 3. I don't get it. If they made a spinoff with Balthazar Brat, I'd probably be entertained.
I'll tell you the funny thing about that is, because going into the movie, you guys loved it. I thought those jokes missed so hard.
Oh, Bratz?
A lot of people liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it missed so hard with how they were reaching. I think that that's
the
where
80s jokes.
I felt a lot of stuff. I felt
Yeah,
the whole movie was just reaching to try to stay relevant.
Yeah, you don't make bad points. So I like the fact that
Well said.
the fact that Wonder Woman's still in the top 5. I like that. I love the fact that Wonder Woman is crushing. It's very well received, and so it's like, hey, it's not a Marvel versus DC thing. Let's just all enjoy and have fun. So I'm glad DC has that movie to be like, no, there's no reason to not have faith. There's no reason to completely lose faith or anything like that. We can still, I believe they can save the whole thing. The fact that Cars is on the top 5 just shows that it's been pretty slow. So I'm hoping that Baby Driver makes its budget back. I love his movies. I'm horrible with names.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. I love your movies. Scott Pilgrim versus the World forever. Burn in Hell Transformers.
Mark Reilly, how do you crunch these numbers?
I'm very excited about Baby Driver. It did make its budget back. Worldwide, it's already at 41 million.
great.
So it's made its budget back. It's the highest opening for Edgar Wright, which is great because he's putting out quality entertainment and audiences are going. So that's what I take from it. Very excited about that. Love that Wonder Woman has beaten all the DCE movies. And rightly so. The word of mouth has been great. The litmus test is always my parents. If they hear about a movie and they have to go see it, I know that movie is successful. And they both call me over the weekend. They say, I'm going to see Wonder Woman. I hear it's a good movie. I'm like, enjoy, Mom. You're gonna really like it. So those are what I take from it. Burn in Hell Transformers. I don't know why it's still up there. Why is it still up there? Yeah, I know. That just means there's going to be another one of these things.
You know what's really interesting is that coming in at number 6 was a movie that opened in over 3,000 screens and failed to make $9 million and has 2 huge comedy stars headlining it. Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler, The House, $8.5 million. They didn't even screen that movie for critics.
Buried that thing.
We didn't get a chance to check it out. So it's got Jeremy Renner in there too.
That's when you make a movie like that and there's no screenings for it too, and there's hardly any marketing. That's when the studio goes, "We're taking the hit. We're just going to take the hit. We're not going to spend the marketing dollars." And I think it's smart, though. If you know the movie stinks, if you know it stinks, why put the money into marketing it if you don't know if you think that there's no way you can make that money on opening weekend? It was a smart move.
And we always love when you guys comment, but please actually comment and tell us if you saw The House, because we didn't. We have no idea if the movie's good or not. So please let us know if The House is worth seeing.
I saw The House.
Did you like it?
I saw The House.
And
No.
Ish?
Well, I said I saw it.
Right.
No, it was one of those ones when I'm filming my review, I'm like, I am forgetting everything that happened in the movie, so I had to get through that thing fast because I can't tell you. There's a house.
Right. That's
They gamble.
And they
in
gamble.
the house. Right?
And Renner's in it.
it reeks.
All right. Well,
There it
we were
is.
selling the house, and now we move on to buy or sell. This is where Ashley Mova is going to give us a premise, and we will simply say whether we buy it or sell it, and then compliment each other on saying words. What's up first, Ash?
According to Variety, Paramount Studios has officially given a release date for the Top Gun sequel, dating the movie for a July 12, 2019 release, 33 years after the original. The movie's working title, according to Tom Cruise, will be entitled Top Gun Maverick, with Variety also saying that Oblivion Helmer, Joseph Kosinski, is the frontrunner to direct. The movie is the first title to land on the July 12, 2019 release date, opening a week after Sony's Spider-Man Homecoming sequel. Reilly, buy or sell the July 12, 2019 release date for Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, I buy it. I'm going to go see it. I can't wait for Top Gun Maverick. I don't know if audiences, though, will care. I think that if Spider-Man Homecoming sequel is a week later, then that Top Gun is going to get buried. Because I don't think there's the interest in a sequel. 33 years after, I just hope they do something very interesting with the story, which is rumored to be centered around drone technology and how dogfighting is becoming obsolete. So what does that do for Maverick? That's an interesting spin for me. I'm not crazy about Joseph Kosinski directing it. I really am not. I haven't really liked his movies. Tron Legacy, just kind of, Oblivion, same. So I was really hoping we get somebody a little bit more interesting to direct this because it sounds like a very interesting story. I'm curious. I have such fond memories of watching Top Gun over and over and over again when I was young. So, of course, I want to see this. Now bring back Val Kilmer.
Bullshit, you can be mine, Reilly. I am buying this because it's a Top Gun sequel. I'm a nervous Nelly, though, because there's a lot of things. Like Reilly said, I'm not a huge fan of Kosinski from Oblivion. I didn't like that movie at all. I thought it was really dull and boring. It was the Fantastic Beasts of the future, and I didn't really enjoy that movie, and so it makes me nervous that he's helming a project that I dearly, dearly want to see come back to the big screen. I love the first Top Gun movie. I think it holds up so well. It's a great action-adventure film for all times and all generations. July 12th. The week after Spider-Man 2. Whew, that is a tough act to follow. I mean, that's one of those where you're competing against a movie its second weekend and you might not come out number one at the box office. I have all the faith in the world in Tom Cruise. This drone technology thing sounds interesting to me. I think it's probably going to be something where the drones get a little out of whack, and then all of a sudden we got to get these pilots who are skilled at the lost art of dogfighting to come in and take care of business. I hope that we get more Kenny Loggins. I hope we get more Val Kilmer. I want Tom Skerritt in there. I want to see Top Gun Maverick, Jeremy Jahns. Is this the right move? July 12th, 2019.
That premise just sounds like, I think I said it before on here too, where it sounds like a stealth and Top Gun collaboration. It sounds like a cinematic universe right there. I agree with you. The premise is neat. It really is. But I feel like it's going to be like, and I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like it's going to be like Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, where it's like, oh, it's a timely, this is a good time to do another Wall Street movie. And then I watched the second Wall Street movie and I'm like, well, the premise sounded neat, so I hope it pays off. If they never do a Top Gun sequel, I'll be fine. If they do a Top Gun sequel, I'll be fine. I'm with you, though. It's like week after Spider-Man. Then again, Spider-Man hasn't come out. There's no data that tells me that that's a bad movie to put it a week after Spider-Man, except the fact that Spider-Man's one of the biggest Marvel properties out there, and it's very well received by critics, and it looks good, and it is good, and you should go watch it. So I don't think this needed to happen, and I'm going to sell it because I'm like, it's like buying Bitcoin where you're like, I don't think I should.
Yeah, I'm buying all these pieces together, Kristian, but the individual ones I might want to sell off, the biggest one being that summer release date. How about you?
The first, as far as buy or sell the release date, I sell the release date. I think that the release date itself, I think they should have put this thing out in March. I think March or April, try to go off of what Fast and Furious did. That's where they should have attacked.
You don't think December make the Oscar push?
No, March or April, I think, would have been a good thing, kicking us into the summer, because it's the week after Spider-Man 2. That's tough. As far as the movie goes, Kaczynski is the choice that just, I scratch my head, but I also understand that he and Tom Cruise have a close relationship. What Kaczynski was somehow able to do was a movie like Oblivion, which you look at the intensity of that story and the intensity of Tron, and he made them dull. He made them both dull. I mean, the movies, they're fast-paced at times, but they're still not exciting, which I don't know how you do that, or are able to do that. There's some really fun things in Oblivion, but then you're just bored by it. And I hope he doesn't do that with Top Gun 2. I completely disagree the idea that Top Gun 2 can't be a big hit and can't be successful and can't work because it's too late. That I think that whole thing is silly. I think the fact that to the people that want to see it, that love Top Gun, you'll see it. Now what you'll have to do is you'll have to make an exciting trailer for people who don't give a crap about the first movie and go, well, I don't know if I've ever seen the first one, but the second one looks incredible. Start pitching it in a trailer that it's almost like stands alone as itself, that you happen to have characters that we're familiar with because we've seen it, but it's not reliant on having seen the first movie. Like, you can just kind of bring in new audience. That's the way you do it. It's not going to be the camp and the cheese of the 80s what made the first one so much fun for us. It's not going to have that in the second one. It's going to be a completely different movie that I think can bring in new audience. The idea of it makes a lot of sense, and they should try to do it. The middle of July for Top Gun 2, that's tough.
Did you say camp and cheese?
It's a lot of camp and
Why
cheese.
don't you take a walk around the studio and come on back?
Hey, I love the movie. It's campy and cheesy, man.
You know, Jeremy, I love and hated that you brought up the Wall Street 2 movie, because it does start to feel like that after. The one thing that Wall Street 2 had going for it, which Top Gun 2 will not, is the original director is back. And unfortunately, the late great Tony Scott is not going to be directing this new movie, and that's one of the things that made the first Top Gun movie so endlessly rewatchable. It's got a great cast, it's got a cool naval story, but Tony Scott's direction is why Top Gun continues to hold up to this day, maybe sans the volleyball scene. But it's something I'm really looking forward to. I just don't know if that release date is going to work out in its favor. All right, Ashley, what's our next story?
Thanks to a report from Bloody Disgusting, Lionsgate's prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, has finally been given a release date of October 20th, 2017. Bloody Disgusting also released some first-look images from the movie, which will have the film tracing the origins of the iconic horror character through the story of 4 escaped mental inmates who kidnap a young nurse and take her on a brutal, bloody road trip. Chasing them down is a pair of cops on a mission of revenge against the teenager who will ultimately become Leatherface. The movie stars Vin Jones, Stephen Dorff, and The Conjuring's Lily Taylor, and is directed by Inside directors Julian Maury and Alexander Bastillo. Ellis, buy or sell the new images and release date for Leatherface?
I'm gonna sell the images. I'm sorry. You have to sell me on why I need another Leatherface, another Texas Chainsaw reboot before you have me buy all these random pictures that I see. There's a lot of blood. The effects, I'm sure, are going to be really gory and graphic and disgusting, but that does not make me, who is a horror fan, not necessarily a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, I don't care about seeing this movie based on those pictures. It looks like the movie that is going to be advertised. I mean, Reilly, I know you love this stuff. Is this the picture that you were hoping to see from Leatherface?
No, I sell these images. I sell the release date. I sell the movie completely. Can we stop trying to unmask these villains and get into their psyche? Can we stop going back to their childhood and going, what's wrong? Why are you so upset? Why are you killing people? What? We did that with Michael Myers and that lousy Halloween reboot. Just stop it. Everybody thinks this is brand new idea that we got to go back and go, well, what's wrong with it? Let's show everything, and then it'll connect perfectly to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, now we know why he kills people. No, stop it. These people are scary for a reason because you don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They jump out from the darkness and they kill you. That's scary. If they jump out from the darkness and go, I had a bad childhood, you go, oh, sorry, okay, kill me. No, stop it. Leatherface,
America's favorite camp counselor, kids. Yeah. Mark Reilly. Jeremy Jahns, you excited about this movie?
No, I'm more or less, but I'm with Reilly because you hear the premise, and it's funny that you brought up Halloween because it sounds like a Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
And I mean, you see the images. I do like that image of the blood spatter with the gun to the head. That's a neat image right there. But I'm selling it on the same reason I have to sell a Fantastic Four movie. It's like it hasn't grabbed me thus far. Any recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, it's fallen flat. And like they said in Scream, and you brought up a great point. It's a lot scarier when there's no motive. You don't want to know why. That's why the first Halloween was great. It's like, I met him 15 years. He's a dick. Okay, he's gonna kill people. It's like that's all you know.
Escape mental patient.
Yeah, this kid was nuts, and he killed people. And now I'm with you. I don't need to unmask people. Leave them as almost mythical evil things that you know are people, but they're just it's bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than tell me how you feel. No one gives a shit. So no, Texas Chainsaw, stop.
A lot of negativity coming from this side of the table. Kristian, do you care to lend your thoughts to this particular story?
This is stupid shit. It's a definite sell. It's a big sell. It's so dumb. It's like every 5 years they come out with a Texas Chainsaw Massacre dumb thing.
And they keep getting worse.
It's so bad. No one cares. Horror fans are just trying to go after horror fans, and even horror fans like Reilly are going, stop doing this. It's a cash grab that's not working. There are so many dopey things. I mean, everything about it just seems like a bad soap opera. It's a tired franchise. The way that I was talking about Despicable Me 3, how eventually in 16 years you're going to have 87 Despicable Me 3 movies. There's the same thing with this. And you have Friday the 13th going through the same thing. There's too many movies. Start a new franchise. Come up with an idea. If you want to make creepy kids and everything too, whatever the story is, don't make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Make it, this is similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you have these new characters that do this. I'd rather see that than the cheap try to draw from doing the same thing with Leatherface. I mean, it's a dumb, dopey thing that they're trying to get around Halloween time. Just stop. It's desperate.
Most kids grow up watching Disney movies when they're little. Ashley, you grew up watching Saw movies. Does this picture do anything for you and your love of gory horror movies?
You know, I wasn't excited about it until I heard like Negative Nancy 1, 2, 3, and 4 over there kind of bash it. Now I'm like having second thoughts, man.
All right, we get a buy from Ashley, and I guess that's the best that Leatherface
That's
could
a
hope
rent,
for.
by the way. That's a soft rent.
That's if I happen to catch it.
Right, but you brought up a good point about like make it new. What would have been really cool, since I mean the Texas Chainsaw thing, I don't feel like it's a draw. You know what I mean? So you could do something new, and in the end have the twist be, oh shit, it is a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Shyamalan
would have
style.
been kind of neat, you know? Lost opportunity.
All right, well, over on Collider.com, we got a pretty cool Baby Driver influence contest that you guys can enter right now. You can win a Baby Driver gift pack that includes framed movie posters signed by the director and writer Edgar Wright, as well as a pair of sunglasses and an official movie hat and the official soundtrack, which is probably the best soundtrack of the entire year. Just go to Collider.com's post. You can check out the link in this vid's description for more details, and you log in simply with your Facebook account or your email address. So check out the Collider.com Baby Driver gift pack giveaway. We also have a couple other shows that we want to tell you guys about right here on Collider Video, including the brand new comic book shopping. You guys can check it out right now with Lincoln Park. It's going to drop later on today. Here's a special promo.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm John Schnepp. I am at Torpedo Comics here in Las Vegas. I'm with Jahns from Lincoln Park. He's also a comic book sweaty.
Did you just call me a sweaty?
Let's talk about some comic books. We're in one of the greatest comic book stores I've ever been in. I want to buy everything. What is your big comic that got you into comic books?
I remember being a kid and seeing The Incredible Hulk.
Is this it? So Lincoln Park, you guys have a brand new album.
One More Light is representative of who we are at the moment.
The process of making the album was incredible. If you're making something that's honest, people could connect to it, and I think that's our responsibility.
Everything here is museum quality.
These are just priceless comics.
So here we have something that is unique. You have the first appearance of Spider-Man, and it's signed by Stan Lee. That's $125,000.
Joe, let's pick out some comics that you want.
That's the fun part, right?
Yeah.
All right,
let's do it.
Later on today, that premieres Comic Book Shopping. Special guest, Lincoln Park. That Spider-Man comic's worth $125,000. I have the first appearance of the Punisher. Anybody?
Nice.
No? Yeah. That's
Coyote Ugly.
There you go. All right. We also have TV Talk drop Monday, as well as a new Schmodown Championship team match dropping yesterday between Top 10 and the Patriots. And of course, that is not the last you're going to hear from the Schmodown this week, because the big collision is coming up July 7th. Kristian, the collision. We've been looking forward to this baby for a while.
You know, a lot of cool stuff going on. I'm going to be going up against Jeff Snyder. You've got the Nerds Watch going for #1 contenders against Rotten Tomatoes. There's two big championship matches. One of them, Hector Navarro is going to defend his championship against this man right there, Jeremy Jahns, going for the title. And finally, obviously, you've got the triple threat for the singles championship. John Roca, Dan Murrell going for that man's belt. Mark Yodi Reilly. It all happens on Friday.
Yeah, something else I'm really excited about is that we have an all-new show, which is Thrones Talk. It's all around Game of Thrones. That is up right now. That's going to be going on weekly, I believe,
Monday.
until through Game of Thrones, when it starts airing on HBO. This month is Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the way it's working,
exciting.
it's what we're going to do is for the next, this Monday just aired one, then this Monday we'll air another one, and then once the premiere starts, it'll hit on Sunday, then we'll start dropping them on Mondays, and the finale will be on a Sunday.
I enjoy swords and dragons and boobs. All right, we also have Awesome Tacular. That comes out every Friday. We had a new episode. Jeremy,
Yeah.
very excited
How exhausted
about his
are you
own
now?
program. The
Wow.
link to the latest Awesome Tacular is in the show notes here in
Air
this
is awesome.
description.
Cockatoo.
So let's move on to Mailbag. But before we get there, I want to remind you guys, at the end of this show, we're going to save a couple minutes for your live Twitter questions. Go ahead, start tweeting us right now at Collider Video. Wendy is going to be the gatekeeper. And in the meantime, we go to Mailbag. You can email us anytime. Sometimes we'll answer it on this show, sometimes on our weekend shows. Mailbag, collidervideo@gmail.com is the address. And Ashley Mova is the reader. What do we got?
Sam Dean, Bobby Castile writes, "Hello, Collider crew. Hope you're having a good day. My question is in regards to Creed 2. It was announced not long after the original's release that the studio was in development of a sequel, with some reports claiming they were aiming for a November 2017 release. However, we've heard nothing since, and Michael B. Jordan has only gone on to sign on to other projects. So is Creed 2 still happening? Thanks, and may the filthy force be with you."
It's a great question, Sam Dean, and we're not sure what the answer is right now. Creed 2 is something that I think is on the shelf, and I think that it's probably one of the projects that either Michael B. Jordan or Ryan Coogler, whoever they would get to direct it, even Stallone himself, might want to do. I know Reilly Stallone has been active on Instagram, maybe just for 4th of July fun, or maybe actually reminding people that, no, hey, Creed 2 is going to be happening. What's the latest?
It's very interesting what he's doing. I will say this. I don't know if he's teasing it or if he's just screwing with us, but he photoshopped Michael B. Jordan's face on original Creed, original Rocky IV, still facing Ivan Drago. And he said everything comes full circle. Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So wouldn't it be fun to have a Creed 2 focus on Ivan Drago in some way? I think that would gets me interested, because I love Rocky IV like none other of the Rockies. That's one of my favorites, aside from the original. But maybe that's him teasing us right now, and we're going to get an announcement that I think Sly might direct it. I think he could come in and direct this thing, because Coogler is off in the Marvel Universe now, so he might be a little busy for a while.
Yeah, Kristian, what's your read on this? Did Stallone have too many Tecates, or did this actually have some sort of harbinger of future projects?
I totally think they're working on something, but I'm going to disagree with Reilly. I think that the reason why it took the break is because they're waiting for Coogler. I think by the time they have a chance to, because he's going to be wrapping up. Black Panther's going to come out. I mean, he's not wrapped up in it unless they're going to do Black Panther 2, maybe in between he can do Creed 2.
I hope so.
And I think that he's made it clear that when Stallone was pitched Creed initially, before Fruitvale Station to come out, he didn't want anything to do with it. He didn't know who Ryan Coogler was. He was like, nah, I'm good with Rocky 6, Rocky Balboa, I'm done. Then fast forward, Fruitvale Station comes out, he's really impressed with Coogler, as is everybody, and then you get Creed. So I think that he's got a really close relationship with Coogler now. I think that they've probably been developing ideas probably on the set of Creed, the first one. Something will happen with Drago. I hope it's nothing stupid where Drago's son now fights Creed's son, because that's where it seems like we just went with, we're Fantastic Four and Goonies and all that crap. But I don't think that's going to happen. They've wanted to get Dolph Lundgren back involved the same way they wanted to get Mr. T involved in the whole entire franchise. So I think that'd be interesting to do it. I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe Drago's running some kind of, because if you look at it internationally, boxing now at this is way more popular internationally than it is here. I mean, you have to get McGregor fighting Mayweather for anybody to give a crap about boxing right now in the States. No one cares anymore. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe that the big push is that they're going to go internationally, and Drago's doing something over there and he fights internationally. Maybe he fights in Russia. There's a lot going on with Russia right now.
Dolph Lundgren still in good acting shape. I caught him in Shark Lake recently.
Nice.
He was the best cast member of that hit movie. Jeremy, some websites still have Creed 2 listed as coming out in 3 months.
Oh, nice.
2017.
I
Are they going to hit that release date?
Yeah, I buy that. I think in 3 months you can power through a good script. You can, as long as they keep Photoshopping, they can have ultimately Rocky 4 stock footage and then just Photoshop Michael B. Jordan's head right on Weathers. It'll be fine. It'll absolutely be fine. I do think that they're going to go with. I think Kristian's right that they're waiting for him, and I think that Nolan did that. He can be wrapped up in a a huge property like Marvel, but Nolan would be like, Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, right. Inception, one for him, one for us kind of thing. So I think they could do that. I would like to see something with Drago. Then you start thinking of what would it really be. I mean, he would probably so want to destroy this guy who killed his dad. But what if Drago's not a bad dude? He's like, I know I shouldn't have done that. It's been decades. I'm really sorry, but he still wants to kill him in the ring.
Drago. I want to see that guy who's maybe. I just want to see what Drago's been up to. I want to see what Clubber Lang. I want to see what Thunderlips has been up to the last 30, 40 years. I care about this property so much, but I also oddly would be okay if they said, hey, I don't think we're going to do Creed 2. We closed the story well. We had Apollo's son come back, and there was some redemption there. There was some coming full circle with Rocky as the trainer. So I'd be fine with it either way. But if they announce that there's a Creed 2 and Dolph Lundgren's in it, I'm going to get a little excited. All right, let's go to some live Twitter questions real quick. Like I said, Wendy Lee Zaney's the gatekeeper. What's going on in the Twitterverse?
This one comes from Rob Galafassi, who writes, what do you think about Edgar Wright considering possibly making a sequel to Baby Driver?
Oh, I would love to see a sequel to Baby Driver. I got to catch it this weekend finally, and it's such a rollicking good time. The soundtrack's great. The car chase scenes are unbelievably well shot. I would be all up for a Baby Driver sequel, and without giving anything away, I think that the movie gives us some room for future adventures in this world, so I would be up for another Baby Driver. How about you, Kristian?
Yeah, I would also. I mean, I think that especially with him doing it, you've got to let him kind of go, give him the reins to do his thing, and if he has an idea for the sequel, then yeah, absolutely you should do it. And I think that if more people are seeing movies like this and you can turn a franchise into from an original movie, it would be very fun and encouraging and refreshing.
JJ!
I'm with you on that. In my review, I was like, how much of the car chases were CGI? Nope, they were just, they were real, And so I hope people do it. I hope more people go and watch it. I hope it turns a huge profit. I don't know that it will, but I really hope it will. But I hope if he does a sequel, it's because he wants to do sequels.
Right.
I'm so inspired to do the sequel. There's more story to tell, and it does lend itself to that. But I don't want it to be a studio thing where they're like, you need to do one, and he just kind of you can't help but really kind of scrape and phone it in at that point. So I hope it comes from him and his creativity.
We want to see it, Yodi. Are you giving us the green light?
Hey, I got to see it first. I got to see this movie. I haven't, and because anything Mark Ellis deems rollicking good time in the theater,
I love that word.
Is a movie is a must see. I've heard nothing but good things, probably 100% positive things from everybody I know. So I want to see it, and only if Edgar Wright has the story, like you said, Jeremy. Only if he wants to do it. I don't want it to be forced. If the story warrants it, great, make another one.
Rollicking is this year's Chuglin. All right, Wendy, let's do 2 more.
Okay, this one comes from Jay Miller, who writes, why are people against the Gambit movie now? I think it could work as a heist film.
I think Gambit can work in a lot of different ways. I think that part of the reason is that we're just so inundated with Gambit news and updates and, oh no, now it's happening and now it's not happening, that sometimes fans just get a little sick about hearing about that stuff until we actually have something of substance to look at, like a Gambit trailer, or that it's officially in production, that they started shooting. I would love to see a Gambit movie of some sort. Kristian doesn't think that Channing Tatum's the right guy, but I think you mentioned earlier in the show you do want to see Gambit on the big screen.
I want to see a Gambit movie that costs the same amount of money that the first Deadpool did. Anywhere between, like, was it $60-70 million tops? Not these $200 million inflated budgets that is just asking to lose money and to disappoint one way or another. It's a character that I think could work in a heist film for sure, but $50-60 million. Let's start it with that. That's why, again, getting someone like a Taylor Kitsch over Channing Tatum, who's going to cost you a lot more money, would be a smarter decision, I think, in order to get this character, because the character could be a lot of fun. I would like to see a movie, just not the 200 plus.
Reilly, Kristian does not want to be involved with a studio that's lining up to be a hot lunch. How about you?
I like that Jaws reference. Good Jaws reference. Look, I'm not against a Gambit movie. I think you hit it on the head, Mark Ellis. I'm sick of hearing about these stops and starts and how many directors have dropped out now. And Kristian, great point. I would love to see a smaller budgeted, Deadpool-ish, only in kind of budget, but a story for Gambit. Have fun. I like the question too. Heist movie, that would get me interested. If the story warrants it, if they get all that development hell behind them, I'll take Channing Tatum in the part. But it has to be good. I just want something to happen sooner rather than later, and stop talking about it all the time.
Kid Dynamite.
Yeah, it is very Boy Who Cried Wolf. It's very okay. How about this? When we get a trailer, then we'll be interested to talk about it more. It's just a story that we've talked about a lot. Like more Gambit might happen, and Gambit was one of my favorites in the '90s. And I see what you're saying, Kristian, about bringing Taylor in terms of Taylor Kitsch's acting ability. The dude does have it. However, having him as Gambit would validate arguably the worst chapter in the X-Men universe, which is X-Men Origins Wolverine, on the wake of one of the best chapters, which is Logan. So whether or not they want to do that, that's a very glaring thing where it's like, oh, that guy from that shitty one's back, so do we have to think about the shitty one?
Right. Well, they did that with Deadpool.
Yeah, what part?
Deadpool was in Origins also. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
I would argue that's a different character, and it
does
does break the fourth wall, so
is.
he could have fun with it. So, I mean, it is a gamble. Whether or not who they have as Gambit, I imagine they're going to work that out. But I would like to see a Gambit.
I just love that you're so against thinking about Wolverine Origins ever again.
Ever again.
All right.
In my
Let's
life.
do one more quick Twitter question. Wendy, what's up?
Okay, last one comes from CM Parsons, who writes, which of these franchises would you rather be forced to marathon in a theater? Resident Evil, Underworld, or Transformers?
Well, that was a mean question. That was really
So I picked it.
I'm getting rid of Transformers right off the bat for me personally, just for runtime. Just for runtime, and I can't handle all the jokes. I can't handle all the jokes back to back to back to back. I think I'm going to go Underworld, because Underworld has some mythology I can get into. I'm a big fan of Kate Beckinsale. They had some nice moments in there. I like watching vampires fight werewolves when, high school emotions aren't involved. So I think Underworld is going to take the slight victory over the Resident Evil movies for me. Reilly, it's you lose either way. Which way are you going?
I'm going Underworld too. Yeah, it's a decent franchise. First movie was fun, and I'm with Ellis. Vampires versus werewolves with high-tech Matrix-esque weaponry. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just keep me away. That Transformers. Can you imagine marathoning Transformers?
No.
That is like getting a root canal while somebody's pouring acid on your toes or something. This is the worst. Oh man, that sounds awful.
I want to build up some suspense because I'm not sure which way Jeremy's leaning. I know you're not taking Transformers.
No, Underworld's the clear answer, I think, because Resident Evil, I just can't do it. I just find those so bad. But Transformers, like Reilly said, you've got hours upon hours of nonsense, and you don't have Kate Beckinsale. So Kate Beckinsale all the way.
Jeremy?
Yeah. You guys have all taken that Underworld is the better of the options that we have. I mean, I was never on the Underworld love train, but I was never on the Underworld hate train until the last two. The last two were truly not good at all, but the first three I can find enjoyment in their own place in the universe. Transformers, just like, it's about as long as the Lord of the Rings extended cuts.
Yeah.
Just not 1/28th the style or the talent. And man, oh man, just the first one. And Transformers does have the first one where I can enjoy until John Turturro hits the screen. And then after that, it's some weird downhill avalanche of just nosediving into a thorny monstrosity. What was the other option? Resident Evil?
Resident Evil.
Yeah, no, it'd be Underworld. Underworld would be it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat room, and you guys agree. Most of y'all agree with us, Underworld. I am seeing some votes for Transformers. So John Roca's in the chat room, and God bless him for being here. All right, that is going to do it for us here today on Collider Movie Talk. I want to thank all you guys for watching, everybody behind the scenes, Adam and Cody hanging out with us today, and up here, my panel of panelists. First up, Mark Reilly. Where can the kids find you?
You can find me at Reilly Around on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure this Friday, I'm going against two of the best in the game, I would say. Roca and Merle, though, I'm taking you on. I'm defending that belt. I can't wait to do it.
The leather-jacketed Jeremy Jahns.
You can find me on Jeremy Jahns on YouTube, Twitter, rest of the internet. You can find my show Awesome-tacular on the Go90 network, where I talk Star Wars with Kristian Harloff. We throw pies in each other's face with Mark Ellis over here. And this Friday, you can also find me on the Schmodown because I need a new belt. And it's time.
The life-saving Kristian George Harloff.
That's right. You find me rescuing people outside a little later on today, especially Mark Reilly. I like to stand very close to that curb. You can find me Kristian Harloff at Kristian Harloff. Tonight, we are doing a live Schmoes show, so make sure you go to the Schmoes channel. Myself and Mark, we're going to be talking about all things in the world of movies, so go and check us out over there. And obviously, the Collider Collision this Friday, 2 parts. They're both about 2.5 hours long. Going to be a lot of fun.
And we're going to be taking a lot of phone calls tonight. Ashley Mova, where can the kids find you?
On Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, Ashley Mova. Happy Wednesday, guys.
Wendy Lee Zaney.
On YouTube at the Movie Couple channel, and on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Wendy Lee Zaney.
I am merely Mark Ellis. Like Kristian said, make sure you guys check out the Schmoes Know Live show tonight, 6 p.m. PST. I'll be at the World Famous Comedy Store in LA this weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Subscribe right here to Collider Video's YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow for another episode of Collider Movie Chat Talk.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.